Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday.
Thought the night before was funny. Wait till you see the next day.
Okay, I'm ready.
20th Century Fox presents Porky's 2, The Next Day. Pee-wee and the gang are back, and things are still jumping at Angel Beach High. What they do to each other
Big Edna
is bad enough.
I don't know what he's up to.
What they do to everybody else is even better.
Well, you better bring the army, boy.
Well, actually, we had something slightly different in mind.
Oh, yeah? They ain't happy. The Indians ain't happy.
And no one is safe.
I happen to be the guest of Big Bob Gephardt, County Commissioner. Bobby, where are you? It's your little magic boy.
Oh, my God.
I'm 17 today.
What kind of man would do a thing like that? I can see we will now have to deal with the purveyors of filth.
Hey, deal with this.
Because one thing they know how to get
Oh, Pee-wee. Oh.
is even.
Like shooting fish in a barrel.
Okay, I'm ready. Come on, you guys, what's going on?
Porky's 2, The Next Day.
Remember the last time we were on this road?
I really want to hear this story.
Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, we're going to cover the movie Porky's 2, The Next Day from 1983. The studio was 20th Century Fox, release date was June 24th, 1983. The running time, 98 minutes, and of course it was rated R. The budget was $7 million, and the box office took in $34 million, making the 21st ranked movie of 1983. Now, I couldn't find a Roger Ebert written review as I normally share, so let's do a first for this podcast. I'll give you the audio clip from the Siskel and Ebert TV show where they actually review the film. Enjoy.
But first, Roger begins with a film we've all been looking forward to, Porky's 2, The Next Day.
I was looking forward to seeing it 10 years from now. Porky's 2 is a continuation of last summer's enormous box office hit named Porky's, and it features the same crowd of immature teenagers in a new series of practical jokes involving sex, crummy teachers, and square adults. Now, here's a scene that I think pretty well captures the spirit of this terrible movie.
You guys are just jealous because I ruined Wendy for everybody else. Oh, no. Now that she's had me, what's wrong? Yeah, well, that's not what she told me. Well, what did she tell you? Ask her, Pee-wee. Here she comes. Yeah, I can hear her panting from here. Look, man, when they've been had by Pee-wee Morris, they stay had. I mean, they can't keep their hands off me. And you guys better watch out, because when she sees me, you're liable to get caught in a stampede. Watch this. Hi, boys.
She's in a frenzy.
Oh, she's rabid. She didn't see me. She didn't know I was here.
That's what she said about you last night on the bus.
Oh, man, the girl's my slave.
That kind of an attitude toward women absolutely makes me cringe. It makes my skin crawl. If the whole movie were like that, it'd be bad. But unfortunately, this whole movie is worse than that scene. Maybe the filmmakers were self-conscious about the attacks that critics made on their bubble-brained subject matter in the last movie, because anyway, this time there's a ridiculous and distasteful plot that makes fun of revival preachers, racists, and the Ku Klux Klan. This movie hasn't earned the right to wrap itself around those issues and to take those noble attitudes when it has such a smarmy attitude of its own. The movie ends in a big scene where hundreds of Indians watch while a bunch of planters have their heads shaved and then are forced to walk nude into a revival meeting. That scene is pretty sick, but meanwhile, a local girl is embarrassing a crooked politician by pretending to vomit into a fountain at a restaurant, while really what she's doing is squeezing split-piece soup into the fountain out of her falsies. Now, I'm only providing these details in the first place, so you know what I mean when I say that this movie is completely beneath contempt. There is nothing that this movie won't stoop to get a joke.
I think just reading the synopsis is enough to tell you. I mean, when you talk about scenes like that, it's pretty bad. And I really don't like the aspect that you mentioned, first of all, which is the business with the Klan. They show the Klan. How do they show the Klan? They beat up an Indian boy. How do they beat him up? Just a little black eye.
Comic buffoons.
They don't show what the Klan does, which is kill people, hang people. This is comedy Klan. This is from Archie Bunker's house. This is really, that's sick to do with something like that.
And then the whole deal with what they do with the Klan when they shave their heads using some perversion of a Jewish ritual.
Right.
It's, you know what's sick about it? It's anti-Semitism masquerading as anti-racism.
I know what you're saying.
It's sick underneath the sickness. This movie is corrupt from one end to the other.
We didn't like this picture. Coming up next at the movies, Burt Reynolds in his latest car racing escapade.
To quote the great Sergeant Hulka from Stripes, "Lighten up, Francis." Just as a point of reference, Ebert also hated the original Porky's, so there's that. All right, let's get into the making of the film. So pretty much the only reason director Bob Clark decided to make a sequel was because the studio refused to make a Christmas Story unless he made a Porky sequel. They figured it was a surefire moneymaker after the unexpected hit of the original. And actually, here's where the studio was correct. The sequel did make money, as I mentioned. The main problem that many critics of the film, besides Sissel and Ebert, had was that the main protagonist, Porky, isn't even in this film. It's kind of like Halloween 3 without Michael Myers. And of course, while there is some love in a cult status sort of way for Halloween 3, there are far less supporters of Porky's 2. But I will say, the one acting highlight of this film, compared to the original, is a much larger role for Wendy, played by Kaki Hunter. She is by far the best part of Porky's 2, for me. All right, let's get into the film. So it begins with Wendy, that's Kaki Hunter, putting on a giant condom over Pee-wee's head, that's Dan Monahan. The subtitles then say, "What is the boy in this picture doing? A, being crowned Queen of England. B, doing a commercial for French ticklers. C, being the national poster boy for an anti-VD campaign. D, starring in a movie as Pee-wee. If you guessed D, then you must have seen Porky's." We then get a montage of the greatest hits from the first film. After the montage, we go to the next day, as the title suggests, which is supposed to be the aftermath of the finale of the first film. So Pee-wee wakes up in the morning ecstatic that he finally got laid. However, he's concerned that his normal morning wood wasn't up to the task like past mornings. He remedies the situation by flipping through a National Geographic magazine of naked natives. At school, Pee-wee's buddies bust his balls as they normally do, knowing that Wendy wasn't that impressed with Pee-wee.
Hey, Pee-wee, how's it feel?
How's what feel?
Getting laid.
Same as it always feels.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Never again. What are you guys talking about? I got bodies laid all over South Florida.
Mars, last time you got in the action with your fist, you know, Rosie Palm.
You guys are just jealous because I ruined Wendy for everybody else.
Oh, no.
Now that she's had me, what's left?
Yeah, well, that's not what she told me.
Well, what did she tell you?
Ask her, Pee-wee. Here she comes.
Yeah, I can hear her patting from here. Look, man, when they've been had by Pee-wee Morris, they stay had. I mean, they can't keep their hands off me. And you guys better watch out, because when she sees me, you're liable to get caught in the stampede. Watch this.
Hi, boys.
God, she's in a frenzy, Pee-wee.
Oh, she's rabid. She didn't see me. She didn't know I was here.
That's what she said about you last night on the bus.
Oh, man, the girl's my slave. Wendy! Hey, Wendy! Hey, baby, how's Tricks?
You talking to me?
Well, yeah, I'm talking to you. How you feeling?
Well, to tell you the truth, Pee-wee, I'm a little horny. I haven't had too much action lately.
Is that so?
In fact, if I don't get next to a man soon, I'm gonna be in real trouble.
You guys are as funny as a rubber crutch. Thanks a lot, kid.
Oh, Pee-wee, come on. It's just a little joke. They made me do it. They said they'd never let me see you again. If that happened, I'd just have to go into a convent. I mean, after you, where's a girl to go? It's all downhill from here.
That's what I was trying to tell
Well,
him.
you were right.
When?
How about lunchtime?
Okay.
Gotta go. See you later.
Bye.
Look close to the boys, because that is a world's record shit-eating grin.
I don't know how you do it, Pee-wee.
Well, I'm an artist. I mean, Michelangelo worked in stone, Van Gogh worked in oil, I work in pussy.
He works in pussy.
Well, at least he's consistent.
Let's get him. I think he needs some more.
I think he does.
Hey, Pee-wee.
Now, look, seriously, if you got all this pussy lying around, I think you should share with your buddies. I mean, we share with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like Cherry Forever.
A mere dalliance, my boy. Affectionately done a life experience.
Hey, everybody ought to learn to run from big colored guys with machetes.
Yeah, and as early in life as possible.
Anyway, I think it's pretty awful if you don't fix us up with some of your stuff.
Well, sure, I'll fix you up. Yeah, when? When?
Yeah, when?
Well, hell, anytime.
Well, how about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night? Well, now, wait a minute. It might take me a couple of days to line up some first-class stuff. I mean, I gotta talk them into going for some other guys. I mean, you know, they're pretty loyal.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Of course they would be.
Makes sense to me.
As usual, Pee-wee's boasting puts him in a bind.
Hey, Stemrick! Yeah, what do you want, Pee-wee? Listen, you get a lot of action, right? Just like me?
Yeah, I give him my share, sure.
Well, listen, I promised to set Turner and some of the guys up with some pussy, you know? They haven't get much lately. Except I don't want to give them any of my choice stuff. I mean, these guys are pretty inexperienced.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Right, so anyway, I was wondering if you know of a broad that's a real pushover. Somebody a real idiot could score with.
Hell, man, that's easy. Wendy Williams.
Hey, Stemrick.
Yeah.
Your sister sucks rhinoceros dicks.
I wonder what he meant by that.
Oh, Pee-wee, just be happy Wendy gave you anything. Pee-wee meets with Wendy alone later and gets the lowdown from her.
Pee-wee, it's not that bad. Just tell those guys you polled all the members of your harem and they don't want to make it with a bunch of jerks.
That's what you do, huh?
I don't have a harem.
Oh, that's not what I hear.
What'd you hear?
I was asking around who was the biggest pushover in school, and you know what everybody said?
Oh, Wendy Williams?
Right.
Jeez, Pee-wee, can't be the first time you've heard that stuff.
Well, that's different.
Why?
Well, before, I wanted it to be true. And I guess now I don't.
Well, that's good, because it's not true.
It isn't?
Nope. You don't believe me?
Well, you went on the bus with me, just like that, no questions asked.
You sound like the old joke. I wouldn't belong to any club that would have me as a member. Pee-wee, don't you know why I did that?
Yeah, the bet with Tommy.
I did it because I liked you. And because I wanted to.
You did?
Uh-huh.
You do it every time you want to?
Yep. Every time I want to. Just that I've only wanted to 3 times.
Really?
Tommy, you knew that. Some guy you don't know at summer camp. And you.
Well, then why are all these assholes talking about you like that?
Because most guys are so desperate they'll lie about anybody to make themselves look like studs. Didn't you ever brag about some girl you never really made it with?
Well, I can't believe they'd make all that up.
You know how I got my reputation? In the 8th grade. I didn't know anything. I mean, these guys tried to get me to go skinny dipping. I didn't want to, but I didn't care if they did, so I watched. I thought it was funny, you know, flopping around. Oh, God. The next day in school, I was a slut. I mean, the original mattress back. I got used to it. What do they know about me? I do what I want. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Well, I mean, don't you care what I think?
Uh-huh. I care. But I can't tell you what to think. I
can only tell you the truth.
Oh, boy.
Well, we gonna be buddies?
Well, first I'm gonna have to get into shape.
Yeah, why?
Why? Because I'm gonna kick the shit out of some of these guys. I don't want them talking about my girl like that.
Come on, kids, let's go.
That's your cue. By the way, we got something cooking for your Cherry Forever revenge. Real neat.
Oh, who's we and how did you know about that anyway?
We is Brian and me, and what do you mean, how do I know? You don't think I look after my guy? We even know where to get the girl.
Oh, don't worry about that. I got a good lead. Now, what's the plan?
We're still working on it. We'll tell you everything tonight.
As usual, high school reputations are totally off base. Wendy's pretty awesome and actually likes Pee-wee surprisingly. While Pee-wee's love life is going well, his plan to get Big Edna for his gangbang doesn't go well as she knocks him all over the band's instruments. If you've seen the first film, Pee-wee ended up buck naked running down the street after going to some roadhouse with a prostitute named Cherry Forever. Pee-wee wants to get the guys back now. A side plot is Billy, played by Mark Herrier, who is studying lines for a Shakespeare festival, and he's going to play a large fairy, which of course delights his buddies. Even Meat, Tony Ganios, decides to try out for the play, but he's wearing a dress.
Thanks for coming by, Anthony.
Yeah, well, I just figured I'd kind of like, ask you a question. I mean, like, is this guy like, is he like...
No.
Well, how come he has to wear, like, clothes like this now?
Well, he's pretending to be a girl.
Just pretending?
Right.
Okay.
Will you read Thisbe's speech on page 120?
O wall, full often hast thou heard my moans. Pretty good, huh?
Anthony, can you get your voice a little higher?
Huh?
Well, he's pretending to be a girl.
My cherry lips.
A little higher, Anthony. Come on.
And I like Helen This just ain't gonna work, okay? I mean, I just got a naturally deep voice, I mean, I just naturally got a man's voice.
Unfortunately, infamous gym teacher Beulah Balbricker and the local reverend and his religious zealots have decided that Shakespeare is too risque for teenagers, and they want to shut down the festival. The entire group ends up in the principal's office.
Mr. Carter, there's a mob here to see you.
Do they have an appointment, Betty?
God always has an appointment!
Come on, Mr. Carter.
Well, Reverend, what is the problem now? What is the problem? What is the problem? The problem is fornication now. So saith the shepherd. So saith the flock. Sister Balbricker, open your book. You play the woman's part. Shakespeare is trash. I give you proof. Listen to this.
If I be waspish, best beware my sting.
Who knows not where a wasp does wear his sting? Get this. In his tail.
In his tongue.
Whose tongue?
Yours, if you talk of tales, and so, farewell.
What? With my tongue in your tail? Now, there's no mistaking his intention. No, sir. He intends to put his tongue in a woman's tail. What kind of man would do a thing like that?
Reverend, here is the Bible. Now listen. Just a moment. Listen. And my beloved put in his hand by the hole of the door
and my bowels were moved for him. Song of Solomon, chapter 5.
Devil can cite scripture for his purpose.
He can cite Shakespeare too, Reverend Flavel.
I have read Solomon and Job and Isaiah and Jeremiah and Malachi and Matthew and Mark and Luke and John, and nowhere,
You forgot Sneezy and Doc.
nowhere do I find the likes of this. Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 5, Scene 1. The iron tongue of midnight hath told 12 lovers to bed. 'Tis almost fairy time. God, it's enough to make a real man sick. So saith the shepherd.
So saith the And Abram was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Genesis 17, verse 20.
Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 4, Scene 1. I could munch your good dry oats. So saith the shepherd.
So saith the flock. And thy navel is like a rousing goblet, which wanteth not liquor. Solomon 7, verse 2.
King Lear, Act 4, Scene 6. Let copulation thrive. So saith the shepherd.
So saith the flock. And when the Lord saw Leah was hated, he opened up her womb. Genesis 24, 31.
Vile, blasphemous, intolerable. Shakespeare must go. So saith the shepherd.
So saith the flock.
And, what says you, Mr. Carter?
Get the flush out of here!
All right, Mr. This means war. Holy war! Flock! Follow!
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Win one for the principal. That night, Pee-wee hires Graveyard Gloria, played by Sissy Cameron, for his revenge. The prank being anytime she hears or sees a graveyard, she becomes aroused. But unbeknownst to Pee-wee, his buddies already have another prank in the works at the same graveyard that he's driving everyone to. They also hire Gloria to sabotage Pee-wee's plan. Of course, Pee-wee ends up completely naked all over again.
Go get her, Pee-wee.
I'm getting hot, and I really mean it. Let's you and I go do it before the others get there, huh?
Oh, shit. Bye, Pee-wee. Like shooting fish in a barrel. Yeah. All right, now don't die till he gets all his clothes off, right?
Right.
All right, let's go. Shit. Oh, he's gonna shit. So am I.
Steve!
Steve! Worms crawl up my nose. Suck my toes.
No, listen, come on, listen. The signal's been delayed. Something important came up.
Be realistic when you die.
Oh, don't worry, sugar.
It's too easy, Bill.
Ow! Okay, I'm ready.
Well, I'm dying for it. But wait. I want you to come slowly. Step by step by step. I want to feel your arms around me. Your lips on mine. Your hands on my body.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Touching, searching, feeling. Oh, Pee-wee! Pee-wee! Oh!
God.
What's the matter? Don't you like me?
Pee-wee!
What?
Pee-wee!
What?
Oh, Pee-wee!
I thought she was supposed to be
actually doing this realistic. Holy shit! Help, Tommy! Help, Tommy, come here! Hurry! Help!
Get serious. What's going on?
Tommy! Tommy!
Jesus Christ, what
I
happened?
don't know. Check a pulse.
What pulse?
What do you mean, what pulse?
Is there a heartbeat? I don't think so.
Of course there's a heartbeat, otherwise she'd be dead.
Pee-wee. Don't look, Pee-wee. Just don't look. Don't look. Just don't look. Don't look.
Well, she can't be dead. Let me look.
That is a fucking doornail.
Oh, shit! You got her too excited, Pee-wee.
I think we should call the police.
Police? Oh, my mom's gonna kill me.
Oh, we can't do that.
Why not?
Pee-wee will go to jail.
Jail?
What do you mean?
Well, look, man, this is coitus interruptus. An extremist. Yeah, that's a good point. But I didn't do anything, Tommy! Law doesn't look at it that way, Pee-wee. If a woman dies while you're buffing her, you're considered an accomplice. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Oh, shit, Pee-wee.
Oh, my God.
Look, Pee-wee, it really wasn't your fault. She probably had a bad heart.
Yeah, buddy, could happen to any one of us.
Yeah, especially you, me.
So, what are we gonna do?
William, there's only one thing to do.
What's that, Thomas?
Barrier. Yeah, we gotta protect Pee-wee.
Right. Oh, Picking might miss her down at the library.
Right. Okay.
Well, I just suppose there's a chance we're gonna have to take. Maybe you wanna grab that, buddy?
Watch your hands, Buster.
What do you care? You're dead.
Come on, man, bring her over here.
God, she's getting stiff.
So are you, Mickey. You guys be quiet. Shut up, asshole. I'm not. What is this? Nothing. What do you mean nothing?
Who's in there?
Where? There. Nobody. Nobody? Nobody.
It's Steve.
Steve? It was a joke. It was just a joke.
A joke? Good God, Pee-wee, there's a woman lying dead over there. And you're telling us it was a joke?
Good God. I didn't know. Well, Pee-wee, we've put up with your pranks and hijinks for many years now. But we never dreamed that you'd have such little regard for human life. We're disappointed, Pee-wee. We're bitterly disappointed.
Well, God help you, Pee-wee. You're gonna have to live with this.
Yeah, amen. But... Oh, shit, Steve.
Hey! God damn it, I'm talking to you! The fuck you think you doing?
Some goddamn grave robbers again.
I'm gonna blow their fucking heads off.
Come on, you guys, what's going on? Holy shit! Bye-bye, Pee-wee, see you later! Hide the body! What are you guys doing? Shit! Bye-bye! See you later!
Crazy little fuckers.
Well, it's an easy $10.
That's right. Hand it over.
Just kids. Yeah. Remember the last time we were on this road?
Yeah. Couldn't forget that.
Hey!
I really want to hear this story.
Look out!
In addition to the same police officers who caught Pee-wee running naked down the road in the first film, now they find a kid dressed as a zombie, hired by Pee-wee, now passed out on the hood of their car. Back at school the next day, trouble for the Shakespeare Festival continues as the local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan doesn't like that a Native American is part of the festival as one of the actors, and they leave a warning message for the class. John Henry, played by Joseph Running Fox, offers to drop out of the play, but his classmates stand up for him and won't allow him to quit. Since the main person behind the disruption of the festival is Miss Balbricker, the gang decides it's time to play the ultimate prank on her. This time, it's not the showers, but the bathroom, while she's on the throne. The boys get into the plumbing system and put a live garden snake in the pipes. Balbricker lets loose a horrific scream while running with her pants down into the gym. But even though they pulled off the prank, the principal has bad news, but with a silver lining.
Oh, Mrs. Morris, I must have a couple of words with the students, please.
We're in the middle of a rehearsal.
It's very important.
All right, Mr. Carter. All right, folks, let's get up here, please. Quickly. Let's move it. Folks, may we have your attention, please? Mr. Carter has a few words. Come on now.
Thank you. Now, I don't like to have to say this, but I don't want you to be too distressed, because I'm quite sure it can be resolved perfectly justly. As you know, certain uninformed factions have attempted to halt our production of the scenes from Shakespeare. They have influenced the county commission to address the school board, and indeed, they have been granted a hearing. And therefore, the superintendent of schools has ordered me to temporarily suspend this production pending that hearing. I understand how you feel. Now, please, listen. That is what I am doing officially. However, there's absolutely nothing to prevent you on your own continuing to practice as a class project. Because I assure you, we're going to do everything we possibly can to put this evening with Shakespeare on the stage. Thank you, and what's the phrase? Break a leg. Thank you.
Those bastards.
Man, this is ridiculous. The county commissioners are going to shut down Shakespeare because they think it's dirty. Those creeps watch skin flicks every Saturday in the basement of the courthouse.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. Commissioner Mason was caught exposing himself 2 years ago to his Bible school class, and they hushed it up.
Oh, God, how did you know that?
Everybody knows that.
That's right.
Well, don't worry about it.
What do you mean, don't worry about it?
We got a friend in court, remember?
Yeah, Commissioner, Gebfart. Yeah.
God, I love this. I just love it. I can't tell you how great it makes me feel to see you great American kids standing up and fighting for what you think is right. Believe me, there's no question about what's right here. I mean, this is ridiculous.
But how could he do this?
Well, he hasn't done anything yet. All he's accomplished is to get the commission to petition the school board for a hearing.
Yeah, but they stopped the play.
Well, now, son, they haven't stopped anything yet, have they? You're still rehearsing.
Yeah.
Right.
See, you gotta understand the politics behind this. This is the way it's gonna work. We've got it all mapped out. Now, as you know, we've got an election coming up in a couple of weeks. Flavel's got a few votes under his thumb. It's not many, but it's enough to scare a couple of my fellow commissioners. So, what's the easy thing to do? We make Flavel happy. So
the commission makes Flavel happy by taking the issue to the school board.
Right. Now, the school board's not up for re-election, so they turned the petition down. You'll be happy. And the commission is off the hook because we tried.
So how'd you get the commissioners to go along?
Little old-fashioned horse trading. A couple of my fellow commissioners have a pet rezoning project on the line, and I'm the swing vote. Now, I really don't give a damn if they get their rezoning, but I can't let them know that. So I play hardball. Now, they want my swing vote, they have to help me with your problem. It's like the hip bone connected to the thigh bone to the ankle bone, and so on. You get it?
Sounds like dirty pool to me.
Well, now, little fella, our great American system is built on compromise. I mean, everybody wants something. Trick is to see that everybody gets a little piece. You know what I mean?
Oh, you bet he does.
Now, you've got my word on this. I'm not going to let a pack of self-righteous bullies deprive you of your play. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, your principal's being notified right now that the school board has okayed the evening of Shakespeare.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Well, if you can't do something for the little guy, you don't belong in office.
Oh, Commissioner, you're meeting in 5 minutes.
Now, you kids go put on a hell of a play.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe I'll get an invitation for opening night.
Front row center. Hi.
Great guy. Yeah, he's swell.
What's that?
Reverend Flavel's petition to stop the Shakespeare Festival. 5,000 signatures.
5,000?
Yeah, 5,000. And every one of them prepared to vote against you if things don't go their way.
Set up a meeting with Flavel.
Right. I thought so.
Can the class rely on the commissioner, or is he just a wolf in sheep's clothing? Along with the fact that the Klan decided to beat up John Henry just to get him to quit the play. So what will happen? We're just going to have to watch the final 30 minutes and find out. There's also a great connection to A Christmas Story, which becomes part of the play unexpectedly. Now look, the first Porky's is by far the best of the 3 films, but the 2 sequels are fun in their own way. Just don't expect the same quality as the brilliant original. The main issue with the second film for many is that it took too serious of a tone for those just looking for crazy antics from the kids. Alright, we have a special guest, and that is Stephen Michael from the Grown Up Rock podcast who joins me to discuss the film. Does he actually like Porky's 2? Or was he simply just doing me a favor by joining me on the podcast? Well, let's find out now, and then I'll be back next week to talk about yet another random movie from my DVD collection.
Okay, we're back with Grown Up Rocks. Stephen Michael is going to talk about the sequel to Porky's. We never got to talk about the first one, so we're going to go to the sequel for him. So how you doing, Stephen?
So saith the shepherd, so saith the flock, Brian Davis.
So the first Porky's, I mean, it really was a phenomena. It took everyone by surprise in the film industry. It had a super low budget, and it was a sex comedy, and it became one of the top films of the year when it was released. And of course, when something is successful, Hollywood's going to milk it until the well runs dry. So since I didn't get a chance to really talk to you on that podcast about the first film, what was your experience like with the original Porky's?
It was great. So I was thinking about this the other day. Mm-hmm. That was a movie that I definitely saw in the theater and multiple times, I got to say, because at this point, I mean, I'm a teenager boy, whatever.
That's right.
So that's one thing. I connected with that movie on a couple different levels, but also I was thinking about this while doing research for Porky's 2, and we were going to talk about it. Literally, the Porky's were the American Pies of the 80s, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Really, American Pie was the Porky's of the 2000s, basically.
Yeah, or late 90s. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And so you saw it multiple times, and it was. I actually think the first film is actually a good movie. I think it's better than people remember. I think people just remember kind of the gags and everything, but I think that one really is a decent movie. Going back to it, do you think it's a good movie, or do you just remember the outrageous scenes and obviously the gratuitous nudity, which everyone wanted at the time because it was before the internet?
No, I do think it was a good movie, and looking back on it, and I got to watch that one not that long ago, because they were all on Prime, and I said, well, damn, I hadn't seen this title in so long. Let me watch it and see if it's as good as I remember it, because I remember loving it when I was a teenager, and I thought it was really good. I think even looking back on it, wow, there's a lot more to the movie than just even like, the teen sex and all that other stuff. Sure. There's a lot more to both of these movies, and we'll talk about this one as we go. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed both of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, so going to the sequel, do you remember seeing it in the theater? And of course, the full title of this is Porky's 2: The Next Day. So this really is supposed to be literally the day after all of what happened on the original movie happened. So do you remember seeing Porky's 2 in the theater?
I don't remember seeing it in the theater, but I don't remember a lot that far back. back, Brian, so I can tell you with most certainty that I probably did see this in the theater because I know I saw the first one in the theater and I loved it. So this one was close enough in release that I would have seen this in the theater as well.
Sure. Now, you mentioned the American Pie. I think that's a good comparison. And I would also throw in The Hangover to a point. In the case of usually filmmakers, they don't get too creative with their sequel because they simply want to keep the golden goose laying those profitable eggs. So I think the problem with today is like folks don't realize that, when you do a retread of the first film, maybe it wasn't as big of a deal before home video and cable because people were still just going to the movies. They weren't watching films over and over again because of home video like they can now. Do you think that's the case of Porky's 2? Do you think they played it too safe in Porky's 2? Or do you think that they actually did try to do something a little bit different than the original?
No, I don't think they tried to do much different than the original. I think they used a lot of the same gags and jokes and all that. So yeah, I think they definitely played it super, super safe with this movie.
Okay. So do you think that it failed? Because I think that's a big knock on The Hangover. The Hangover was so good. It was so out there and it was kind of it was not ahead of its time, but it was really kind of, it was a lot of fun. It was different. But then when they did The Hangover 2 and 3, it was basically felt like a retread. Are there any redeemable things about the sequel to Porky's?
Oh, there's definitely redeemable qualities to Porky's 2, without a doubt, to me. I mean, I enjoyed both, and I don't think that the only reason I enjoyed the second one is because if you like this one and all the gags, well, you'll like the second one because it has the same gags. So I don't necessarily feel that way with it. I think they just wore out their welcome with The Hangover, man. It's just, I mean, that third one, I enjoyed all the Hangovers. I mean, from that respect, I see the comparison, but that's kind of where the comparison ends because this is a teen coming of age movie, same as American Pie. Hangover is not that to me.
I will give it to American Pie. They kind of did a little bit different for their sequels, if I'm trying to remember correctly. So that I kind of handed it to them for that. Now, for Porky's, I will say that what I enjoyed the most, and especially after my recent reviewing, was you got more from the Wendy character, and that was played by Kaki Hunter. I think she really shined in this film. She's by far the highlight for me. What do you think of that, and what are the things that you really enjoyed the most about the sequel?
Yeah, I can see that point with her performance in this movie. One of the things that I told you earlier that there were a few things from both these Porky's movies that I connected with growing up. And one is that I grew up in Florida. So these both take place in southern Florida, which is not where I'm from, but very similar look and feel. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that these are sort of period pieces, not current, right? So they were set in the 60s, I guess, right? Yep. The 60s, but they're 80s films, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that was a little bit different. So I didn't identify with that part of it because contrary to my co-host Sonny Pooney's belief, I'm not that damn old. So shut it, Pooney. Anyway,
he's yelling at his phone or wherever.
I know he is.
Yep.
So so I thought that was interesting, but a lot of like the high school life and everything is very similar. It had in various parts it had like sort of a Grease feel to it, right?
Exactly.
That sort of high school thing. There's just so much with both these flicks that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the Balbricker character. She's back. I'm really, really happy that they were able to keep the cast together.
Yeah.
And bring them back because I think that that's a huge thing. One of my biggest kind of pet peeves is when they, do sequels that it's like one of the 10 original people or one of the five. I kind of hate that. So I do enjoy the fact that they brought back all the characters. And what I was saying earlier with there's more to these movies than just the coming of age sex scenes, where both of these movies are very prevalent with race relations, right?
That's right. I mean, the Klan plays a huge thing. In the first film, it was more about anti-Semitism. Yeah.
Yeah, it was completely about the anti-Semitism in the first film, and this with the Klans and the Seminoles and all that kind of. So there's that underlying kind of theme that's happening throughout both these movies, while at the same time they're showing you boobs. So
that's right.
that makes it that to me that makes it more interesting than the average coming of age movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then on top of that, like I definitely identify more with the second movie, having grown up in the Bible Belt with these people and having had interactions, like, literally walking through malls as a teenager with a concert shirt on or studs on, or whatever you were wearing at the time, and being literally harassed by Bible thumpers. I dealt with that growing up, so I completely understand some of that and identified with some of that stuff.
So what were some of your more memorable experiences dealing with that, going to concerts and having to deal with folks of that ilk?
Well, most of it I never had any issues at concerts. Like you're surrounded by your peeps, right?
Sure. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Most of my dealings were just around my hometown and in malls and things like that. You always have those one or two people that feel like, because you look different, that you're evil. And I never understood or identified with any of that stuff. But they had no problem approaching you and telling you that, right?
That's right.
You should be saved, all this other stuff. And it's like, man, you don't even know me.
That's right. Worry about yourself and we don't have a problem.
That's right.
Well, it's funny you mentioned. So Bob Clark, these are really based on his experiences growing up, in Florida and things like that. And that's really where he went with the first film. I don't think he wanted to do a sequel. And the famous story is the only reason he did a sequel to Porky's and agreed to it. He wanted A Christmas Story to be made, and that was how he got A Christmas Story made, was to agree to do this. And then you had mentioned, having a whole new cast of, in the sequels. I think the biggest offender of that was Meatballs, because the first Meatballs was so good with Bill Murray, and then the second, the third, and the fourth had nothing to do with the original Meatballs.
No, and interesting, I was thinking about this. We were talking about the American Pies earlier, which is American Pie basically spun off and became this like the same as National Lampoon, where it's like America's whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's American Pie became the same branding as National Lampoon's, where it's like National Lampoon's European Vacation, National Lampoon's this. It's the same now with American Pie. American Pie's Band Camp, American Pies. So I find that kind of thing interesting from a branding standpoint. It always interests me, and it never has. Like they keep one of the originals, two of the originals. American Pie did good for I think 2 or 3 movies, and then they lost all the cast. But
sure. Well, and it's also those were all the ones you mentioned. Those are all straight to DVD. Type films, and so obviously there was money to be made there because they kept making them.
Well, yeah, now more than ever, right? Because all the Netflix and everything of the world, they just want
content.
Yeah, they just want content. I'm finding movies on Netflix that were released, like let's say 2018, 2017, that might actually have big stars in them, but I swear I've never heard of them. I'm like, how did I miss this movie? And they're not all bad. Like I watched one last night that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Well, I think people forget, especially in the 80s, and we not too long ago we were talking about Hooper. There were a lot of good TV movies with big name actors that came out in the 70s and the 80s, and it was because it was before you had streaming, obviously, and home video and cable. So you could actually still see some of those good movies. You might, Andy Griffith might be in it, or Robert Mitchum. It was kind of neat back then. But to go back to Porky's, who is your favorite character of the Porky's cast? And we'll leave it to the sequel. Who's your favorite character?
Yeah, and I keep dragging you away from these things.
No, I like doing that.
What was your favorite part and what all that? Look, I always enjoy meat because meat made me laugh. And especially in the second one where he freaking dresses like the girl and
that's right,
sings and was having to speak high. One thing that I caught that I did not remember catching before, and I caught it when I watched it more recently, is that the drama teacher is Pee-wee's mom.
That's right. That is true.
I never put that together, I don't think, when I originally saw the movie. Like, so she walks in on Pee-wee with his freaking boner or whatever, right. or he's measuring his wang size and all this stuff, and then she's teaching the drama class, or she's doing the casting for the play or whatever, and I realized, oh shit, that's his mom. Okay, I get it now. So I never put the two of those things together, but her trying to make me the voice higher, that was making me laugh quite a bit. And then, even though it's a repeat gag, the graveyard scenes are always great.
Oh, yeah.
And they were great both times, so those were fantastic.
And it's funny, like people forget, and unless you're a fan of comedy, Scott Colomby's in this as one of the gang. He, of course, was in Caddyshack. He was kind of like the other caddy that was against the protagonist. So he's kind of fun. And again, my favorite character is Wendy. The first one, she didn't really get enough. And this one, she's really funny at the end when she's kind of playing she's trying to go after the guy who's one of the politicians and everything. So she kind of really shines towards the end.
And I'll tell you another scene that I absolutely loved. It was the scene where the old principal guy is going back and forth with the reverend, and they're sort of debating and reading scripture back and forth, right? And that, to me, that whole scene is fantastic.
Absolutely, and that kind of harkens back to the original when he can't stop laughing when Balbricker was explaining what was going on in the locker room. Yeah. He always has some good scenes. Now I realize that this film, and I kind of mentioned this, it's supposed to be literally the day after the first film, but but to not have the character of actual Porky in the second film seems weird. Why? Did you even care like when you first saw this, or do you even care now that Porky's not even in this?
At the time, I didn't care. Looking back on it and reading up and studying on it, I was like, oh yeah, Porky's not even in this movie. What the hell?
Yeah.
You know what? That's just what else could they have done? Because the branding of the movie is Porky's, so they can call it something else, which I guess is why they called it The Next Day. But not to have the Porky's branding in the movie title would have been suicide because, right? What else could they have done?
They can't. They have to. And that's why I think in 85, when they did the third and the final movie, it's Porky's Revenge, and he is in that.
Yeah, but I didn't think about it at the time, reading on it where, it says, hey, Porky wasn't even in this. I was like, oh shit, yeah, Porky wasn't even in this. Yeah, I didn't care.
Now, okay, so to wrap up, we kind of alluded to this. The sequel did kind of take a little bit more of a serious tone, maybe in an attempt to distance itself from Nonstop Ranch. Would you have preferred that they just went Nonstop Ranch, or did you actually appreciate them getting into certain issues? And I think you kind of answered this, but would you have preferred it just to be, nonstop hilarity?
No, because I think that's what separated it from the rest. I think that's what made it different. And I mean, to me, they both were serious subject moments in both flicks. And again, they didn't stray. I mean, it's the same it's the same recipe as the first one. So they just switched the focus, right? So the social focus went to dealing with Jewish, whatever you want to call it, right?
Bigotry, yeah.
bigotry to focusing on Klan, and wasn't so much more. It was less of a black and white thing and more focused on American Indian. Yeah,
that's right. That's correct. Exactly. If you can remember, do you prefer the second film or the third one?
Well, hell, I do not remember the third one. The third one I would have to rewatch. I don't even know if I saw that. I did watch the first and the second together recently, but the third one, did the third one use a bunch of the same jokes?
Pretty much, yeah. I just remember, like, I'll have to rewatch it too. I remember seeing it on TV and it was heavily edited when I first saw it. But
what was the premise of it?
I think they were about to graduate, and I do remember Pee-wee being completely nude under his robe. Like, I think he walks to bed or something like that. And so, of course, at the end of the movie, that's the big punchline: is his gown blows up. But it's it's not that much different than the sequel. Obviously, the first one is by far the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Stephen Michael, thank you so much for doing this, and I know we're going to have you back on real soon.
I'm sure, Brian Davis, always a blast. I appreciate it as always. I don't know what the next Growing Up Rock episode you'll be taking part in, but I'm sure it will be out at a podcast venue near you.
Thanks, Steve.
If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.